Hello, Internet. Salaam alaikum. May peace be upon you. This is Queer Muslim Turtle. Uh, this is my third vloggy video thing. I am here in my lab at 3:45 a.m. I was just procrastinating doing my work. I have to do some data analysis. And I was just like watching YouTube videos and eating. I have to stop eating at 5 a.m. for Ramadan, for my fast. And Ramadan is over next week, which should be okay. I'm kind of sad. It went very quickly. And I always feel better during Ramadan. Oh goodness. You can probably tell my eyes are kind of bloodshot because I got very little sleep last night. My program took us on an internship field trip, there we go, to a local institute, so I didn't really get much sleep because we had to leave at 8:30 in the morning, and I usually sleep at 8:30 in the morning because I wake up late in the day due to Ramadan and fasting. I'm like semi-nocturnal. Actually, I am nocturnal. What am I doing? Go to bed at like 5:30 in the morning. So, yeah. Life is good. I'm kind of tired, but it's good. I like Texas a lot. Feel like I want to move here. It's always been my fantasy to marry a cowboy. Um, go have a farm, I guess. Write code. Learn math. Read. Farm sheep, I guess. I don't know. What has been going on recently? Brexit happened, so the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union. That made me really sad because it's bad for the economy, the world economy. Then on top of that, it was fueled by like all the xenophobia. So for people who are colored living in Britain, or who aren't colored, who are Polish living in Britain, things are getting bad. The Portuguese, the Spaniards too, like, I feel really sad about that. That's a bummer. Hopefully we don't do that and elect Donald Trump. Although, really, I don't think, as long as he was balanced by the House and by the Senate, he wouldn't really be able to get much done, even if he was elected. I mean, God forbid. So yeah, those are my political thoughts. Wow, this eye. I'm noticing it now because of this video recording. I can't even form sentences. What am I doing making this vlog? So yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I haven't been running recently. One thing about me, I'm a distance runner. So I like to run, like, on average, 6-7 miles is a good medium run for me. And it gets the blood flowing, I can think. I feel good afterwards. But I've been missing it because of Ramadan. I haven't really been doing it because I would get really tired if I did. So yeah, I can't wait to get back to a normal schedule as well, like actually sleeping when the sun is down and waking up when the sun is up. Like I'm an old man really, so I go to bed at like 9 and wake up at like 5. Wow. So yeah, my life. That is a lot of my life. Eating, drinking, sleeping, pooping, running. Oh, I need to plug in my computer. Nah. And what else? Oh, I could tell you about my gayness. Well, I like men. I've liked men for a long time. I first knew I was gay when I was 5 years old. And I didn't really feel like bad about it until I had like a pretty strict uncle who taught me mathematics and how to read, which I am eternally grateful for. May God bless him. Um, it's I did so well in school because of him. Um, but he also taught me like how to read the Quran. He taught me all of this stuff. So like, I mean, my family's never been like ultra homophobic. I mean, they are super homophobic, but it's not like they're every day they're like we hate gays. It's just that if they hear about gay people or they see gay people or if they read Quranic verses that they interpret to condemn gay people, then they're like we hate gays and they're going to hell and blah blah blah, right? Um so I remember when I was like 7, he said all of that stuff to me, and I was like, "Oh, what are gay people?" And then, like as I learned what queerness and homosexuality meant in middle school and high school, like I realized fully. Well, by middle school, I had pretty much realized that I couldn't be out to my family comfortably ever. Um, so yeah, but then like I don't know, I always felt bad, especially like going through puberty. I mean, I knew when I was 5 that I preferred men, but after going through puberty, it was just like so much. I mean, it's so much more, right? Any adult person knows, unless you're asexual, and there are people that are asexual, but I'm not. So, yeah, I experienced my sexuality in a very visceral way. And then it was always really Islam that stood in my way, or not stood in my way, but like traditional Islam and like traditionalist interpretations on homosexuality that made me uncomfortable. Um, but I found, I guess, I mean, Scott Kugel is a well known name in the queer Muslim community. His book was good. I feel like just reading the Quran and like, because it's only a question for people who have faith, right? I mean, if you don't have faith, if you don't believe in the basic tenets of Islam, then it's not even a fundamental question. Does Islam allow homosexuality? Because you don't value that, right? Then you're an ex-Muslim, and that is a whole nother like animal. Um, and yes, Muslim communities should be better to ex-Muslims. We should support them as human beings and their freedom of choice. But I'm not an ex-Muslim. I'm pretty much convinced of my faith, and I feel it's a productive thing for me. It makes me a better person. I can live more fully through it, through practice, through worship, um, and just the ethical like foundation that it gives me. So it was really trying to reconcile those two ways of looking at the world. And I love how rich queer theory is. Like, I can't wait. I feel like in the next 10 or 20 years, there will be so much more scholarship in, like, the study of Islamic sexuality, especially. Because I took a gender and sexuality course last semester, and we really, like, many of the patterns that I noticed was that scholars destabilize an ahistoric narrative of history. Basically, there's this view in society that sexuality is like this static thing that we've always like men and women have always like gone like this and had babies and like been like that, right? And marriage is like this static thing, like you get married, you're with that person, and that's that. And queer historians have always destabilized this and, really shown it to be a myth because it is a myth. Marriage hasn't always existed as it does in this country right now. The legislation surrounding marriage has not always existed in that way, let alone, like, in the Old Testament, you have so many different forms of marriage. Even in early Islam, you had not only the nikah, which is like the conventional form of marriage, but you also had a muta, which is it's a temporary marriage. Um, and not just that, but like the way that people copulate, the way that people experience love and attraction and live with one another, all of those things have changed. So I feel like as I've grown older and as I've explored that richness in theory and richness just in knowing history, that has really opened my my views and like helped me to accept my own reality and accept, I don't know, hopefully a life one day where I am married to a man, hopefully a cowboy. I like the ones with the big muscles, dear God. And, you know, have a bunch of adopted kids, and maybe, hopefully, inshallah, my parents, God willing, my parents are also okay with it. Currently they're not, so I guess I'll save the coming out story for later, but that's just like a general thoughts, feelings, touchy-feely, because I feel like I didn't really talk about. I'll make a video later talking about like how I, not just at the like high theoretic level, but like at a exegesis or like you know, just how do I engage with the Quran? How do I engage with the ahadith, which Muslims use to, you know, make their jurisprudence. I'll do a video on that as well because that's like a huge issue. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Ramadan Mubarak, only a week left. If you're Muslim, if you're non-Muslim, may God bless you. Have a good night.